You have no idea what loss is.
Whether or not you are still bitter about the fates of your favorite characters from The Last of Us following the incredibly divisive sequel The Last of Us Part 2, there's no denying that The Last of Us Part 1 stands tall on its own as one of the greatest games of all time. The game took motion capture performance to the next level, showing the whole world the capabilities video games have to tell stories, capabilities that gamers have known since the dawn of gaming. But there's some very important questions gamers are asking themselves with The Last of Us Part 1 Remake dropping this week. With only 9 years having passed since the 2013 game was released, was a remake necessary? Has game development evolved enough to make a playthrough of this game at full price feel that different to the original version? Has Naughty Dog put their heart and soul into this remake, or is it just another retextured cash grab? Let's try and answer some of these questions. It's an argument as old as time in the world of gaming. Are graphics that important to tell a good story? Or is it just dressing for developers? Well, we can say now with absolute certainty when playing The Last of Us Remaster and The Last of Us Remake side by side, the impact that graphics have on the world and the game overall is invaluable. From the closer details like bugs crawling on a wall, to the faraway details like the rolling mountains and the buildings of Boston, The Last of Us Remake takes the depth and immersion of their world and turns the knob to 1,000. From the opening sequence of the game, you can tell the environment has undergone a massive overhaul, but it's not till you get on your feet and start looting and exploring that you see the effort that has gone into making this game. Interiors and rooms are completely redesigned, the ground and terrain are built again to more accurately represent the dilapidated world of The Last of Us. The bones of the world remain untouched enough that some gamers will only notice the changes in more memorable locations. The music shop in Billstown, the boat outside Pittsburgh, the farmhouse near Tommystown. But after playing both games side by side, every single space, nook, crack and cranny has clearly been meticulously crafted to give every location more life and more history. But it's the cutscenes and motion capture where the graphical capabilities of the current generation really start to shine. The Last of Us Remake takes the original scenes from their mocap performers and lets us see a far more detailed and accurate representation of their performances. The intricate and tiny expressions give the characters more realism and more depth. Watching Ellie's eyes well up with tears at the farmhouse, or watching spit fly out of Tommy and Joel's mouths when they're yelling at one another, makes you feel like you are seeing real performers giving it their all. But the opening sequence of the game, oh my god. The performance from both actors is even more gut-wrenching with the improved motion capture. Along with the environment and the cutscenes, all of the character models have been remade to more accurately match their Last of Us Part 2 counterparts. These new models are the cherry on top of the cake that is the graphics of The Last of Us Remake. A lot of rumors about the gameplay have been flying around after some footage from the remake was leaked. Let us here at Gamology be your source for the tested and assured truth. With both versions of the game running side by side and with a lot of playtesting, we can assure you that the remake has major, albeit sometimes not obvious, gameplay updates. Gunplay is improved. The sensitivity acceleration has undergone some substantial tweaks to give the guns more weight when movements are small and less weight when the movements need to be wider. This gives the player some more options when taking on multiple enemies. The way Joel holds his gun also gives the player more field of view. Speaking of Joel, he's fast. The way he walks through the environment has been bumped up so that the player doesn't so often feel like they're slogging through the more open sections of the game. It's not over the top, he just has a little more pep in his step. And when comparing the two versions of the game, it's incredibly noticeable and very appreciated. Joel also behaves more naturally when moving around the world. His punches are heavier and they're more accurate. This doesn't really change the gameplay, but it does keep the player immersed when you're swinging at enemies or even swinging at the air. The game has some major customizable settings improvements as well, none of which were available in the original release or the subsequent remasters and re-releases. These include a remember shoulder swap option, customizable controls, acceleration customization, camera assist, and aim assist. The environment in The Last of Us Remake has also become more interactive. Bullets that miss opponents will fly off and smash windows, and enemies flung across the room will knock things over and break items in their paths. The world feels less like a big, beautiful block, and more like a million beautiful blocks all combined with their own weights, functions, and purpose. To claim that The Last of Us Remake has seen no gameplay improvements is completely unfounded. The improvements that can be made on a 2013 game are definitely limited. That being said, the improvements that were made are awesome. The game also includes some brand new elements like an updated UI and menu and the new Observe mechanic, which lets you pick up and look closer at items and notes. The largest change of all comes with the new gun upgrade system, which actually shows Joel making upgrades to the guns based on which upgrades you select. This adds a level of immersion, but doesn't really feel necessary. It slows the game down by adding a 4 to 8 second cutscene with every upgrade you make, and is clearly already being rushed along as Joel moves at a working speed that is quite frankly impossible. This working speed breaks the immersion somewhat and makes us wonder why it was even added in. We don't see Joel craft his Molotovs and his nail bombs along with the gun upgrades, and if we did, it would be very, very annoying. On a more positive note, the camera work during cutscenes has been given a beautiful depth of field upgrade, which adds an element of cinema that was previously missing. With almost no loading screens and the previous 1 second black screen that broke up gameplay and cutscenes now gone, the game from start to finish is smoother than ever. In conclusion, in this current generation of gaming, we're seeing a lot of remakes, but The Last of Us Remake doesn't feel unnecessary. Going in, we felt as though it was just a fan service. Coming out of it, however, we feel almost like it's a dev service. The vision that Naughty Dog had for this game was clearly even bigger than the massive one they achieved in 2013. The PS5 gave them a chance to go back and have another swing at a game that they clearly poured all of their heart into. Every element of the game feels improved, whether it's a small improvement like the gameplay or a massive improvement like the world and terrain. If you're a fan of the original game, we can guarantee that you will enjoy the Last of Us Remake experience thoroughly. And if you've never played the original game, this gives you a chance to experience it for the first time in a way not many people have the pleasure of doing. For us, we give The Last of Us Remake a 9 out of 10.